Okay, welcome everybody who's here and people who are listening to us on the replay. I hope everybody is alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic about life and living and ready to have a fantastic hour of learning and growing. I am Elizabeth Green and I am an intuitive life coach and the founder of the Indigo Institute of Nevada. And I welcome you to Perfectly Imperfect, the show that is designed to give you tips, strategies, and resources to help you live your best life now. Today I have with me on my show, beside my co-host Karen up in Canada, wave hands. You all who are accustomed to seeing us know that Karen is always here supporting me. I have my publisher. Many of you have heard me talk about this book that I've been working on, building spiritual muscle. And I have been working on this book for quite some time. And Kira has been here to hold my hand and encourage me along. Just for those who might want to get back in touch with me and feel free to post and tweet. Let me post and tweet to let people know that we've already started. I'm going to post Kira's website down there where thank you very much, Karen, and my website is down there. If you to follow up, have any other questions that we may not address during the show. Let me tell you a little bit before I have Kira introduce herself, let me tell you a little bit about how I got to know my publisher, editor, book coach, friend, holding my hand and taking me through. Many of you who have listened to our blab before know that I do not feel that I am the best writer, and Kira will acknowledge that. During the time that I was supposed to have been learning English, I was reading other books and things like that, and I wasn't paying very much attention to it. And just like most of my Indigo friends, we may have a slight deficit. We learn a little bit differently. And I ran into Kira as a speaker, as a trainer. One of the things that people kept telling you about was to make sure you got your words out on paper. And to get my words out on paper for me were like, and then being an intuitive and not have the person slant their head and look at you sort of strange was a blessing. Kira knows, and she's always treated me and my guides pretty equally. She'll always ask me what they said, and she doesn't treat me like I am some oddball, some nut out there who doesn't
aren't we all
know what's going on. So as I said, she has really held my hand through this whole process, and it's almost done. Before, Kira, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before we actually get into the meat?
Okay. Well, I did slant my head a couple of times.
Good
like,
things,
what the heck are you
good
trying
things
to
I
say?
couldn't see you.
Like, what? But it's just thank you so much for having me on the show, both Elizabeth and Karen. It's a pleasure to meet you, Karen, for the first time today. I've been in the publishing business since 1996, something like that. Before that, I did a lot of translations from German into English. I lived in Austria, and that's where I really got interested in helping put books together. Then I started the publishing company in 2002. Since then, I've published over 450 books.
Oh,
so you can see some of them behind me on the shelf. And it's just an exciting process. I get to know most of my authors pretty well. And each one is unique. Each one has a different story. And it's an exciting and very honoring process. I really enjoy working with people. Everybody has a different story. And working with Liz has been great. I mean, it kind of it has gone in sort of spurts. Like there will be times when I don't hear anything, and then all of a sudden I'll say, "Hey, Liz, what's up? Where are we?" And then every once in a while I'll get an email from Liz, like, "Hey, Kira, what's up?" So we've been going back and forth, I think, since 2005.
Correct.
10 years. 10 years, 11 years. This is the year of your book, though, Liz.
Yes, it is. Well, you know, so many things have occurred since then. It's almost like when I started writing the book, and I started writing the book for Indigos 10 years ago. Many of those I was writing for their parents. I was writing because many of those Indigos were just teenagers or just moving into the workforce. Now, 10 years later, they're raising their children. They are the ones that were teenagers are now out of school, and they are in the workforce. And I still feel it's a relevant topic. It's something that my guides keep pushing me to stay with. I was even questioning that this morning, that they keep pushing me to complete and do. And even though the first part of the book came real early, personal, as I've shared with my audience, I ran into personal things that were almost like them saying, okay, if you're telling people that they can create the life they want using these things, prove it. Yes, and so everything was stripped from me, and I had to start from scratch. But what I loved about Kira is she stayed with me while I was going through it and had me. We did a lot of things over the phone, although she has developed a system that will help people get the ideas out of their head and onto the paper. With me, it was a lot of hand holding and questioning, which I truly needed in order to get it out. I know what you mean, Vanessa, you know, trying to get it out of your head and really get it onto the paper. And as I said, today I invited Kira on because I know that a lot of people that gravitate toward Blab and that gravitate toward me are more oral than they are, you know, of actually getting the words down. You know, this is the best media in the world for me because all I have to do is open my mouth. I don't have to take it through my head to the paper. Like Karen has heard me talk about my red pen fetish or being stuck as far as that's concerned. That's how we came together with Perfectly Imperfect, because I was sharing the fact of how I always felt I had to be perfect in order to be a writer. And Karen is a little different than me. She writes. She's much better than I am with getting the words on the paper. So we're all excited to hear some of the things that you're going to be sharing with us today. Now, I asked you about what you felt was a good way of helping people. And you shared with me, I said, getting the book out of your head. And you shared the publishing process. And were you going to take us through that today?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd be happy to. I'm going to put the link. This is a bit.ly link because otherwise the link is, a mile long.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just put it in the message box.
Okay, great.
If I can. I'm not sure how to do that.
Just type into where it says.
There.
Okay.
I got it. Okay.
There you go.
I'm new to Blab. Can you tell? So anyway, I'm going to hold this up also. I don't know if you can see it. Let me pull it back a little bit.
Yeah,
there
we can. Okay.
Okay, this is what I'm going to be sending out, or what I just did. This is the link to this sheet.
Okay.
And this is a process. This is really how I started the whole publishing business. I was working for a publisher at the time. I was production manager. I had 11 staff, and I was working with big publishers like McGraw-Hill, Prentice Hall, some of the big guys. And being production manager meant that I was responsible for making sure that the books looked right before they went out. Mm-hmm. So I was working with editors and all sorts of different people. And then I had a small business coaching, personal coaching business at that time in 1999. And maybe it was before that. It doesn't matter. And then people started saying, the people I was coaching kept saying, I really want to write a book. I really want to write a book. I really want to write a book. And okay, well, do you know how to write a book? And so I put this process together. And I've been using it since 2002. And it really seems to help people grasp that it's a relatively easy process, but it takes work. It takes work, right, Liz?
Oh, it definitely takes work.
Yes,
because you get stuck in the middle of it, and it's right. Different than just writing a paper for a class.
It is, correct. So one of the main differences is who's your market? Who are you writing the book for? And I think that's where I kind of ran into some bumps in the road for you, Liz, because your market changed. Mm-hmm. Your direction changed. And so the tenor, the sound, the tone of the book had to change as well. So the first thing in the publishing process is having a book idea. If you're a speaker or a coach or a consultant or whatever, it's really good to have to know why you're writing the book. Mm-hmm. It's not just to write a book. And I've only had one author over the years who said, I'm writing a book to make $1 million. Not a good idea because you're not passionate about it then. Only one.
So that was the reason that they wrote it.
Oh my word. You're coming all times, right?
and I know that mine changed because I was afraid to write about what I really wanted to write about.
Yeah, and now it's like whatever.
Hey, it was like yes. I was just coming out of the closet and just telling people that I really talked to angels and guides and was like, how do you make it sound marketable?
Right.
Because 10 years
not
ago,
too off the wall. Yes, mm-hmm. Exactly. Right. So you have a book idea. And it's really important to know, why do you want to write the book? Is it to inspire others? Is it to share your knowledge or share like how-to topics, or how to You know, some people just have a good story to tell. Many of the people I work with do memoirs, which is sort of like your book. It's nonfiction. And I do novels as well, children's books under duress. I don't like them. My daughter's almost 30. Oh, my daughter's almost 30.
Okay,
and people think that writing a children's book is really easy. It's not. You have 32 pages to get your point across, and on average. And it's a challenge to do that. Plus, it needs to be illustrated, and then they're more expensive to produce than usually in a paperback. And it's all about marketing. If you looked at the diagram that I showed at the beginning, like this, it's all about marketing. Who's your market? Who's your market?
Everything. Oh my word, everything is.
Pardon?
Everything's
about marketing. Yes, it is. Everything is about marketing. And then I also did quite a bit of book coaching. That's how Liz and I got together. I don't even remember how we met, Liz, but it was good.
Yeah, it was. We met because I was going, and it wasn't a spiritual group. That's why I felt free to share where I was coming from with you. And I didn't, good thing we couldn't see each other. I didn't know you turned your head and said, ooh, what strange woman do I have on the line?
No. I'm saying sometimes in the sentences that once you, no, it wasn't about you at all.
Oh, okay.
When I was giving workshops, most of my authors were originally more, I'm going to say, the woo-woo folks in the spiritual realm. And one of my taglines was, nothing is too weird. You know, so so I had a lot of angel readers, or angel people, and channelers, and you name it. It's not too weird. It's all there. It's all real. And there are some people I prefer to work with versus some others, but it's always been a pleasure working with you, Liz. I must admit, because you have a wonderful laugh.
Yeah,
it's been great.
Yep. And as you go on, Karen's book is on the book that you're trying to get out, Karen, is more a how-to book as far as budget is concerned.
It is how to. Actually, the ebook that I wrote is nothing about budget. I do have one of those that wasn't published, but this one is about finding your loves. And I specifically wrote the book because I was looking to find it, and not love in the sense of finding love in relationship, but finding your loves in what you want to do. And kind of going through the journey of finding that. And I was doing it for myself, and then I wrote on it.
Very good. So did you publish it on Kindle, or where is it?
You know, I went into Fear Factor mood, and I wrote the book, got it edited, and sat it down. And did nothing.
You set it down?
And did nothing with it.
Let's get it on Kindle at least. Come on. You need to have a good book cover. Anyway, so for the book coaching, I'm just going back to this process. Okay. The book coaching can be either done, like Liz, you could have called me up on a regular basis and I would have typed it in and you wouldn't have had to write it yourself. So I call that telebook, which I've done for a couple of people. And then there's also the book coaching, like you would submit a chapter and I get back to you, and so we tried a couple of different things.
Yeah, because
different modalities.
I believe that we use both of those. Where when we first started, I just sort of talked and you typed it in and then sent it to me and said, fill it out. And then you thought I had gotten to a certain point that let me wean her off of me typing it, and you go ahead and send me a chapter and I'll send it back to you. So we use several different methods as we went along.
And everybody's different. That's the whole thing. It's just maybe Karen would respond better to written back and forth. I don't know. Everybody's different, and the first couple of coaching sessions are spent really trying to determine what is the best modality. I'm also a Reiki master, so I somehow the Reiki helps out figuring out that stuff. You know, what the best way of energetically of working together is.
Right.
And I really believe that books or book topics are out there in the ethers waiting for the right people to come through.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Lots of sense.
Yeah, that it's just saying, okay, Karen, it's time for you to write. Did you get kind of a push to write the book?
Yes, yes. It
Yes.
just hung in me for weeks and weeks, and I wouldn't do anything about it. And then I just sat in one swoop, and I write the whole thing. And then I went back and edit out and add and put in and what have you. But I literally sat there that whole day and just wrote. Like, I couldn't stop myself. It was just pouring out.
Exactly.
It was just pouring itself out, and you know.
Right, and it doesn't have to be a struggle. I think that's really what it is. But it's that I talk to so many people, especially with novels. It's like, this character is not letting me loose. I have to write this book, right? So then the ultimate goal of book coaching is to get a manuscript together. And the manuscript is really, it can be very short. I've done books with 10,000 words that are a decent size. And right now I'm working on, I just counted the words in the manuscript, 208,000 words. It's a 700-page book, which is a monster. I'm never going to take anything like that on again. So
I should start counting my words. I don't count my words.
It's huge.
Okay.
It's huge.
Right.
It's about 2 inches thick, literally 2 inches thick. So putting the manuscript together is the ultimate goal. Then deciding how you're going to publish the book. Like, Karen, you decided to do an ebook. Is that as a PDF, or how did you conceive?
Yes, that's what I did.
Force it.
Yes, I put it in a PDF format.
Let's get it on Kindle so you can start making some money.
Aha, money.
I know. I teach money, you know.
I did not know that, but let's get it on Kindle. And even if you're only getting, $1 a book, it's still worth it, right?
It sure do. It sure does. It sure does.
Okay, we'll talk offline on that one.
Yes.
So there are many ways of publishing. Publishing is really just making something public. Okay, so as soon as you put something on a website, it's public. As soon as you put something in a magazine, it's public, or in a blog, it's public. So you're really publishing. So self-publishing, in the truest sense of the word, is setting up your own publishing company and doing all the different steps that it takes to put a book together. There are self-publishing companies out there now, like CreateSpace on Amazon, iUniverse, Ex Libris, Outskirts Press. There are boatloads of them. And the thing with a lot of those companies, it's called print on demand. So somebody needs to purchase the book and then it's printed. So it's not really self-published. And Barnes & Noble and bookstores usually don't take self-published books on that are produced by those companies, because the way that the book industry works is everything is done on consignment. Right. Like Amazon purchases books from me, purchases books from me on consignment. I send the books out. So say Amazon sends me a purchase order. I send 10 books out. When those books sell, 90 days later is when I get paid. Or if the books don't sell, then they return them. So a lot of people don't think about it that way. So it needs, like Barnes & Noble, I would say probably at least 70% of the books in Barnes & Noble do not belong to Barnes & Noble. They still belong to the publisher. Okay? So they can be returned. I get books returned all the time. So I send the books out, and say that Barnes & Noble wants to order 100 books, 100 of Liz's book once it's printed. Okay?
Right.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes,
I
yes.
send I send 100 books to the wholesaler. Barnes and Noble doesn't deal directly with publishers, so I send 100 books to the wholesaler. The wholesaler gets a discount of 55%, which means for a $10 book, I get $4.50 back. Okay, so then Barnes Baker and Taylor, or the wholesaler, sends it to Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble sells 10 of those books. Barnes and Noble pays the wholesaler for the 10 books and sends the other 90 books back to the wholesaler. Then the wholesaler sends the books back to me. So it's kind of this whole, it's a dance.
Yeah, and are you paying for shipping and handling all along the way?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No.
Now
that's why I love Kindle. I love Kindle.
Yeah,
because
so the 15th of I wanted 2015, even though I didn't put it anywhere. I told it I'm going to go print it. I'm going to go print the pages off just to show myself that it's done and put together. So that's what I did in 2015. But yes, Kindle is a better version, a better idea.
Yeah, Kindle. I love Kindle. I love Kindle because the book is out there. It's published. It's been edited. It's been formatted, and then it's available all over the world instantaneously. Exactly. Because, like with Kindle, it's available throughout the U.S., UK, Germany, Spain, Italy, India, Japan, Brazil, and I'm probably missing a bunch. There's probably about 20 different places that people can access that book. So you're already an international author when you're on Kindle.
Oh,
okay. Unlike Nook, I do have some books on Nook. I still have yet to be paid for the ones that have sold, and which is not to say, whatever. But Kindle pays regularly and does a really fine job.
I heard a lot of good things about them. Yeah.
I am and then your book is automatically on Amazon too, which Amazon is the 5th largest retailer in the world. So you're already getting noticed out there.
Now
it makes sense to have your book. We're going to put your book on Kindle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
all right, Elizabeth.
Well, I just sort of turned it over to you and you tell me the steps, but just for other people that are listening, does it cost to put it onto Kindle?
No.
Okay.
No. You need to you can have, some of my authors, I manage their books. They get a royalty for any sales, right? But you could set up your own Kindle account and put your book up there. You submit it as a Word document. You still have to have a good cover. The cover is what counts, really. And content. I don't know what that is.
Sorry, that's my 4 o'clock. I usually sign off of work. And I forgot tablet because time changed. Sorry.
Okay. But anyway, so you can put it up as a Word document. I can put it up as a Word document, and you get a percentage, large percentage of what I get back from that.
Okay.
So whichever. So it's either my account or your account.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Liz.
No problem. So just putting it, opening up an account on Kindle once you feel that you have your book at that stage that you're ready to publish it, then you can, quote, be an international author because it can be accessed from all of the different areas.
Yes. Okay. And having your book on Amazon automatically gives you credibility.
Okay.
It just does. For some odd reason, it just does. So, so anyway, there's self-publishing. Then there's custom publishing, which is usually what I do now. I've over the last 14, 15 years, I've changed my business, the way I do business. So now people, authors who I am publishing, pay me to put the book together, to do the editing, to do the formatting, and then they get 50% to 70% of net back as royalties when they participate in the publishing process.
Okay.
So with you, I'm publishing traditionally, so you're going to get a smaller royalty because you're not contributing funds toward the production. So I have a couple different modalities, and I'm trying to simplify. So I'm either going to do all custom or all, all the traditional publishing. So that's usually, to get into one of the bigger publishers, you would need to have an agent. And agents generally only take on maybe 1 or 2% of the manuscripts that are submitted to them, because their reputation is based on, they pitch the book then to a larger publisher, and the publisher says yes or no or whatever. So it needs to be a really good book to do that. And so I act as my own agent. I get out my pendulum and say, is this a good book or not? Is it going to go somewhere or not? And I don't even need to do that anymore. I can usually feel it. Anyway, so I trust my intuition.
Okay.
And
there's
so
a question.
Publisher,
Yeah, there's a question that Vanessa asked.
Okay.
When you start writing a book on Kindle, can you save the book there if it's not done? Or you don't write it on Kindle, you write it, then you post it onto Kindle.
Right,
Yes.
right. Yes, you need to upload it onto Kindle.
Okay.
And you can upload it as a Word document, and then they put it through. It turns into something called a MOBI, M-O-B-I file. A MOBI file. And it's proprietary for Amazon. But then you can also use that MOBI file, and if somebody needs that. Okay. So there are lots of different publishing.
Okay, sorry. So if it's in PDF form already, I have one in Word and PDF. It's on PDF. Do I send that, or I send a Word document?
Word document. You set up your own. You can set up your Kindle account. Which is KDP. I'll write it in there. KDP.amazon.com. So KDP stands for Kindle Digital Publishing.
And hit enter. Did you?
Oh, enter. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, I saw you looking, and I was like, it hasn't come up yet. Okay.
Yeah. No, so kdp.amazon.com, and then you can, if you have a cover, the cover needs to go up as a JPEG file, just the front cover. You have to have a book description, and it's helpful to have an ISBN. The ISBN, you don't really have to, but it helps identify. Like if I'm doing let's just say I'm doing Liz's book as a hardcover, a paperback, an audiobook, and an ebook. There should be 4 different ISBNs that identify that book. And the ISBN, you can get the ISBN at let's see, Bowker.com or ISBN I think it's org, but I'm not sure. So Bowker.com is the agency that assigns the ISBNs. The ISBN International Standard Book Number links back to the publisher. It's an identifier for the book. It's like a social security number for the book, but it also links back to the publisher. Like my ISBN is 159598, and then there's the book identifier. Okay. So that it's sort of another level of how do people find the book. If you go into a bookstore, they always look up the ISBN now. That's how they find the book. Pardon?
When you go to the library, it used to be in a system.
Right,
at a library.
right, yeah. Yes, yes. So then as far as book production goes, there's copy editing. It needs to be well copy edited, not too many typos, because typos really distract the reader.
Right.
Book design. who's your audience. If you're writing for people our age, I'm guessing, then it's good to have a little bit more white space, have a little bit larger letters to make it more legible. So it really, again, it leads back to who's your market. If you're writing for younger people or teens or high school students, maybe having some graphics in there. Just like Harry Potter had those cool designs at the beginning of the chapters. It just makes it a little bit more interesting for people. The typesetting is the process of actually taking the manuscript, the copy edited manuscript, and turning it into book pages. So it starts looking like a book. And that's, I enjoy that part of what I do. It's the creative side, really. So I do typesetting and editing. Sort of, I combine the two, and I've been doing it for long enough that it's pretty easy for me to pull that together. Yeah, and designing the pages, again, depending on the market, and doing the layout. A manuscript that you do in Word on 8.5 by 11 always looks different when it starts looking like a book, right, Liz?
Yes, it does.
It really looks different. And then you can see, okay, now I've started 4 paragraphs with I. And so you change things up, and it makes it for a better book. Proofreading, I usually work with proofreaders, because when I'm working on the book myself, I'm sure there's going to be something that I've missed. I just know it. So there are some really, really good proofreaders out there, and they may charge $1 or $2 a page to do the proofreading.
Is there a place? Is there a place that people who are doing the self-publishing that they can go to find good proofreaders, Kira?
They can email me. I'm happy to send people on to good proofreaders.
Okay.
And I'm sure there are places like Elance. Elance, those are freelancers out there. Elance.com. So it's elance.com. There are people out there who do that. There's also Fiverr. Are you aware of Fiverr?
Yes, but I thought that they did basically technical stuff. They do also do...
No, they do everything. They'll go out and tweet, 500 things for you for $5.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, and Angel Rose said she does proofreading.
Wonderful to know. Wonderful, Vanessa. That's great to know.
Yeah, and it's easier to proofread somebody else's stuff.
It definitely is. Yeah, you keep seeing yours over and over again. I'm like, this sounds good. And then I sent it out and the girl edited. She offered. And then when I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, did I miss that? When did I miss that? I'm sure I wrote that, but it wasn't there.
Exactly. You skip over it. You skip over it. And I just, in that 700-page memoir, there was, under one of the photos was a caption that said, Doug and Julie were marred, not married. MARRED.
Okay.
That would not have been good. No. No. So as far as getting the book out there, there's do you want a print book, audiobook, ebook, many different, hardcover, softcover. There are many different formats that books can get out there. The main thing is really the marketing. To start thinking about your marketing maybe 6 months, 8 months, 10 months before the book actually comes out, because you need to start creating relationships with your audience. Goodreads is a good place to do it. Goodreads.com, it's on Amazon. And you can start getting reviews from you can put galleys out there. There's also netgalley.com. That's another place that people can start reading your galley, which is the early proofs of your book.
Okay.
And start doing reviews, because you need testimonials or reviews on the back of your book on Amazon in different places.
Okay.
Nice. Oh, this is a great blog today. I'm learning some great stuff that I need to hear. Because I've been writing and yapping and writing, but to hear all this is kind of making my head being able to put things together.
Well, Karen, you need to get your book on Kindle. Really.
and
Do it.
You know, and
by the end of the month.
Yes, agreed.
Say, especially since she has hers already there, huh?
Exactly. And then we'll do that with your book too, Liz. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And
yes. I know I have a couple more pages to do, and
yes,
that's this week.
Right.
You know, I think a part of what happens with new authors or would people who don't really consider themselves as writers, it's that hesitation of putting your baby out there in front of people. At least that's part of mine. You know, even though when I read back through it, when you sent me the first proof, I'm like, wow, this is some good information. This is answering a lot of questions that people have been asking me. But and it read fresh, and especially since it's been such a long time since I've gone back to the document, it read fresh to me. So, you know, it's stepping up and going ahead and doing it. Is
right. Mm-hmm. Fear is a huge block. I mean, one of my early authors, all of a sudden she just like deer in the headlights, and she goes, "What if I get on Oprah?" I said, let's get the book published first. And then
before you get to Oprah's chair.
It was just like, you know, don't worry about that yet. Let's get the book done first.
Yeah.
And then, that's part of the marketing too. And then there's distribution. I talked about that a little bit earlier, just about getting it into the wholesalers, getting it out on Amazon. Right now I've been doing inventory, so I have piles of books around, but I always have books ready to send into Amazon or ready to send into the wholesalers. And there are different modalities. It depends on what the authors want to do. Usually the way that I work with the authors is I'll have some books here on supply, and then the authors also purchase some books from me, and they sell them at their own events. Some have workshops, some are coaches, some are speakers. So they always have books at the back of the room. And I teach, or I tell my authors, always have a box of books with you. You never know who you're going to be running into.
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
and then there are also bookmarks and business cards, postcards, all sorts of different marketing tools that you can use as well.
Now, even if you're doing books on demand, you still need to have some books that you keep hardcover on your own?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
For instance, I have one title, just one of my titles. The authors have some on hand because they give workshops all the time. I have some books on hand here for orders, or I also fulfill orders that come in through my website. Okay. And then say that Amazon places a large order for that book, then I contact the printer, and the printer drop ships the books there.
Okay.
To Amazon. So say there's an order of 40 books or 50 books. Rather than having the printer ship the books to me and then send them to Amazon, I just send them directly. So it depends. That's why it's a little bit hard. I'm admitting here, it's a little bit hard to have an employee because every book is handled a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Questions.
Yes. So, okay. Can I?
Go.
So I want to ask the question. I'm getting all excited here, right? Two burning questions. Concerning if you have an ebook, like my ebook, also I have in the works following a workbook, so it's like a combined book. So you read the book, and then I have a workbook to accompany it, so you can actually do the work in it.
Okay.
Would I go ahead and have those ready for people right away, or I had the idea that they'll get the book, and if they wanted the workbook, then I add it as a bonus, or would I just have it up there? That's my thought.
So you have the PDF ebook on your website for people to purchase?
No, I just have it. It's not on anything. I had to review the other day, but I have it nowhere.
You have to monetize your information.
I know.
Okay, so get it out there as a Kindle. In the Kindle, say there is a workbook on the website. The workbook could be downloaded for free, right? If you wanted to. Once they purchase the Kindle.
Yes.
That would be an added thing. And I don't know, do you use the workbook for your coaching clients then, or how do you use it?
This workbook is strictly pertaining to the book that I wrote. I have workbooks on my budgeting course and stuff like that, so that's separate. But this is specifically for finding your loves.
So it's separate.
You could sell. You could sell the work. You could sell it. You could put it on Kindle if you wanted to. You could also publish it and put it up on Amazon, and sell it for $10 or $12 or something. You know, I think there are different. I was just reading. I don't remember what the guy's name was right now, but he's making $6,000 or $7,000 a month on Kindle just from little 50-page books.
Okay.
Yes, because I guess people will just buy it versus a course, because really lots of the books that are workbooks that you write, once people do the work, they can actually see results from it. At least the ones that I configured, you know. And it's almost like a course, but in a book form, where it's just there for what they need, right?
Yeah.
So, kind of back and forth.
So you can.
So the next question was about the audiobooks.
Yeah.
With audiobooks, do you recommend that you get somebody who do voice over to do your audiobooks? Is that a better idea, or?
It depends. I've done it both ways. I've done them both ways. Sometimes people want to hear the author, particularly if you're a speaker or a workshop presenter, or like you, Liz, you're a very vocal person, and you know, I mean that in the best way.
I know.
But so that people recognize your voice. You have a very distinctive voice, Karen, and so do you, Liz. So I would say read by the author is really nice. I have one book that's the author did music meditations, and she tones. She does soul song therapy. So she has a CD with her book that she's done herself. Because that's kind of her brand. It just depends what you feel comfortable with. And we had one book that was recorded in Great Britain on an iPhone and then mastered, cleaned up, and edited here in the States. So, and then we have it on Audible, which is the Amazon audio version that you can download as an MP3, and then I also produced CDs from it. So there are two different versions of the audiobooks.
Oh wow! I'm loving this.
Now,
it's all possible to say this is what I want to do.
Now, if you were doing the audio book, is there a particular? You said that they did it over their phone. Is there
on their iPhone?
On their iPhone, is there a particular software or program that they could go to do it on?
Well, I think I think there are a lot of different versions of places that you can record. I think there's something called, is it Audible? Not Audible. There are different recording systems out there that are not very expensive. I can't remember. I think it's Audible.
Okay, yeah.
Not Audible not Amazon Audible. I think there's like a program that you can use to record and edit if you want to. Okay. However, there are also, I work with a fellow who works in the music industry, and he had one narrator come into his office and record the book, and it was a clean background. It was just, to do it professionally is the best way to do it. But you can also record, like Karen, you could just record into your computer, into your laptop, your book, and have it, and then you can upload it to, it's acx.com. I believe it's acx.com. Audacity. Thank you,
Okay.
C. Will Builder, whoever you are. Audacity, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And
Thank
Will,
you.
if you would like to come on, if you have any questions, you are welcome to jump into the open seat and ask those. Come on and ask the question if you would like, and join us in the discussion. Okay, but
Okay. Whatever. Thank you. Audacity. That's right. Audacity. So you can record it and then upload it as an MP3, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. It's and people are very. Oh, here, Angel Rose. There's a free voice app on smartphones that you can use to record your voice. Yes.
Yeah.
And then save it as. Yep. So there are a number of possibilities. I'd probably go the Audacity route if you're going to do it yourself.
Yeah.
But I think then you can say, okay, here's a free chapter on my website if you want to listen to it. So then that's put in your email, and I'll send you the recording.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the main things is really building your list. Also, using maybe a free chapter, or Liz, you're going to be using your ebook on your website as a free download or free giveaway.
As a free giveaway is what my thoughts were. Although as I am meeting more people here on Blab, I may actually sell it. I may initially do it as a free lead, a free lead magnet. But then after that, because I noticed that a lot of authors will put it on Amazon, and it says like it's free for the first month. And I don't know if that's something that you have to do with Amazon, or that's their choice to do it that way, just to get more people to get the book so that they'll show them.
Well, yeah, Kindle has a couple of wonderful programs. You can set up 5 free download days per quarter with Kindle, or you can also do something called a countdown book promotion. So for 1 week, it's 99 cents, and say that the retail price is $8.99 or $8, whatever. So you do it for 99 cents for 1 week, and then the next week you bump it up to $1.99. But you need to be promoting that.
Okay.
You need to let people know through Facebook or social media. So my book is available for a free download on these such and such days. Like you could do it on your birthday, Liz, for a free download.
Yes. You know, my birthday's at the end of the month. That's why
I do know that.
I know that's what
looking for reminding me.
You know, my birthday is the 29th, and so I know that's so we're right around the corner. It's like that was her jab, get that last part in so that you can go in and do it.
Oh my word.
And your son is the 28th, and my father's was the 29th also.
And yours is the February
Groundhog's Day. February 2nd.
Yeah, it was another Aquarian. That was another thing why we and Oprah's birthday, she has down here, and Adam Lambert's birthday is the same birthday. Oprah's birthday is the 29th. Great people are born.
How fun. And Angel Rose, say happy birthday to your mom then too. That's so funny. It's creative people getting together.
Yes, like minds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But I mean, please, Liz, you know, if people have questions,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to answer them up to a point. And then I
Yes,
switch
of course.
over into publishing consulting.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, the time has just been speeding by. You know, Karen, do you have any more questions for Kira that she can address?
I know. I think she's been answering my questions. I've been flooding her.
Okay.
I think she's been answering my questions, and I definitely will have to have a chat with her outside of blog to really put the pedal to the wheel, because I promised myself to write 6 books this year, and the one was finished last year, and I know, crazy number, but I like
If
crazy
they're
numbers.
short,
It
it's
pushes
okay.
me to go do it. Yeah, these are not big books. These are ebooks. These are ebooks and workbooks and that sort of thing. It's nothing big and novel and that sort of
Okay.
stuff.
Yep.
I don't know how
it's
long
really
a novel
possible.
takes. Yeah, I don't know how long a novel takes. My mom usually said to me, been bugging me to write one, but I'm not ready to do that yet. So these are just small books.
Okay, small books are good.
And now, does an ebook, is there a certain length that an ebook, an optimal length for an ebook? Kira?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I have all my books are up on Kindle.
Okay.
And some of them are longer. Some, like my novels, are maybe 400 pages.
Okay.
So I read all the time. I read novels. I read Child's and kind of brain candy kind of stuff. But I read on my Kindle, and I'm always disappointed when the books end. So,
yeah, that's one thing that we do have in common. I've always been a reader. Maybe not a writer, but always a reader. And, when I traveled, I went through, I don't know how many books a week, at least 3 to 4, being surprisingly, being in one place. I don't read as much as I did when I traveled, but again, being on the plane, sitting in the airports, that hurry up and wait game, I always had to have something with me to read, my coloring book when my brain went numb.
Okay. That's one of the latest crazes. We're doing a couple of coloring books now.
You are reading those, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to write a lot of how-to books. That's what I find I write a lot of, and planners, because I like to plan a lot of things myself and schedule, and the workbooks. I think that's what I love to do anyway. So.
Okay, that's your downtime. So that's excellent.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, Christine, thanks for joining us. It's almost, our hour is almost up. I feel free to take a look at the, she's gone. To take a look at the replay. I will be posting the replay onto my website, and I'll put all of the links so that people will be able to follow up with you, Kira. This has been very informative, even though we have worked together for quite a while. There is, I picked up a lot of good information that I definitely plan on going back. And yes, when we get off, I will cut off the computer and stop running up and down the hallway of Blab and start scheduling time to write. Do you feel that is a good way of doing it? Just schedule the time in?
Yes, put in the time. Like, for instance, I've started meeting with another coach, and she and I are meeting every other Thursday morning to get together, and maybe we'll just be dueling laptops where we meet. She'll be working on her stuff, I'll be working on mine. But that's really, it's a system of accountability that we put aside this time to work on our own stuff. We're not working on anybody else's stuff, we're working on ours.
Yeah, Karen, maybe that's something that we can do, be accountability partners and finish up these books and get them on posted up, because that's one of the things that we were able to do as far as just going ahead with the blab. We just decided that we would be accountable.
So do you want my link, or Karen, you said, would you like to put in your link again?
Yes.
If people go to my website,
okay,
I'm going to put in Publishing Prep School.
Okay.
.com. On there is something that Liz started using too, the Visita, the scheduler. And it's excellent. It's just a really wonderful tool for, if somebody wants to set up a time to meet. So I really like that. That's what, it's right on the website.
Okay.
I got it from her. Karen is trying it out, trying to decide if she likes using it. But I picked it up because I went to your website, and especially since Kira will put it at the bottom of all her emails, that I just found it to be a good way of people contacting you, opposed to going back and forth. It just cut out some of that phone tag or email tag.
Right. And it's really been very helpful, because when I can block off clients on my calendar, and that is shown as busy then, and people won't book something there. So I've liked it a lot. Let
me ask you one more question before we wind up. Because the idea hit me this morning. Everybody keeps saying, build your list, build your list, build your list. And they're talking about an email list. But what I have noticed is that a lot of people, like of my son's age, and that's the group that I'm targeting, don't really use email anymore. They'll say
they use Facebook.
Yes. So, have you had anybody bring that up, and how have they approached that?
Who's your audience, Liz?
My audience are those indigos, my son's age, that are using Facebook. And so it's really, I'm looking at what do the response I get back from email, right now I'm using both, but it's, so your question to me is whether to use email or Facebook. Who's my market?
Use both. Use whatever modality. That your constant contact. You use constant contact. You can do social media spreading out of that, right?
Yes.
So that's what I do. I just do the email to my email list, which is, I don't know, it's maybe 3,500 now. So it's bookstores and media, and then authors and different people, right? So, but then I connect that email to Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn.
Okay.
I don't use Pinterest or Instagram, and maybe I will in the future, but.
Okay. And you just spread it out as far as the posting when you put it up, so that it's showing up. Okay. And I guess that is
because then they can click on the link, and then they can email you or do whatever. I think that's, for me, that's what works best.
Okay.
But it might be different for yours.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. But like I said, when I woke up this morning, that was a question that was in my head that, but I guess I've answered my own question, because it isn't really a duplication, because by doing it in constant contact and sending it out to those social media sites, you're doing both. And you're able to track it both ways.
Right. And so if you had a Pinterest or Instagram or I don't know, there may be 5 or 6 other ones. You can send it out to that whole social media realm, and you're hitting whoever.
Okay.
And the main thing is putting a good, catchy title on that's going to appeal to your audience.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, and that's what I am working. Put the link on Twitter. Yeah, okay. Well, we have spent a really great hour. Any more questions, Karen?
Sure. No, really great hour. There's things I'm going to ask her, but on our own time and book some time with her and stuff because, yeah, it's just one of those things that you just need to do and stop,
procrastinating. I know.
Yes, yes. So, ladies, when I get on Blab, I'm going to start doing the same kind of thing and just helping people understand the publishing process. It doesn't have to be scary or daunting. It just
and
it really doesn't have to be.
What you have to say, Kara, you've cleared up a lot of things for me that I've been horsing around, didn't want to put it out there, and I know part of it. Initially, it was, why would people want this? Because I have a blog myself, and I tell Elizabeth when I first started my budgeting course, the same thing. Like, why would people want this? And of course, I know people want it, but it's fear I have to burst through, right? So this is the same.
That's the biggest thing, and that's a big part of the coaching. Is like, it's do you believe in yourself or not?
Exactly. And I'll coach you through this like nobody's business. I'll get them past their money block. I'll get them past their relationships. And then here I go, I'm like holding on to this stuff like I give birth to it.
Yep, exactly. You're crawling into your desk. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Not unusual. Not unusual at all.
Because Karen does her Blab on Thursday, and she does it Money Mindset. And
when is that? When is it?
Same time on Thursday.
So 2:30 my time. I'm in Central Time.
So it's 2:30 your time. Yep.
Blab with Karen.
And the name of it, Karen, put it down there. Have you posted yet for you to put your link?
It's up already. Yeah. I don't know how to find my link, but
I'm missing it somewhere.
Yeah.
She hasn't typed. She's going to get it right now.
So she has Vanessa's Facebook page. Mm-hmm. I'm just reading all the questions.
And I will, that's Karen's.
So blab.im Coach Karen.
Mm-hmm. And if you click on it right now, it'll automatically go to that site, and so then you'll have it up.
Okay, let me do that.
If you
click on how we can do it, we can do it while I talk to you. I thought we couldn't.
So do I do a follow then, or what?
You can subscribe. You can do a follow.
I'll do a follow.
If you click on Blab with Coach Karen, let's see here. You can do a following, and she's got part 2 go for this Thursday. If you go to that Blab and click on it, you can subscribe, which I just did.
So wait a minute. So
click on the link that's down at the bottom of the page.
I did. I'm on blab.im.coach Karen. I'm on the website with your lovely picture, Karen. It's beautiful.
Okay. And you see she's series part 2 relationships. If you click on that, that should be the top one.
It's like there's a video there.
Oh, click on for Angel Rose. Just go back, come back to Blab, and Angel Rose was really nice enough to put it right there, and it'll take you right to the site.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa. That was beautiful. Thank you
very much.
Oh, there. All right, now subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now I'm subscribed. So I'll get an email or something? Or
if it's in your setup. If your setup says that you will like emails when you follow, then you'll get it. If you don't tick it off, then you get nothing. You just have to remember to come on. So it just depends on how you set your settings.
So if it posts on,
goes live. it'll send the link out, a little notification or bottom of
And okay, so for everybody that is listening to us on replay, I just want to thank you very much, both of my Kira. You've given us some great information.
Thank you.
And spurred me back along to get this book.
Get your
up
butt
and
in
out.
here. Karen, you keep on track with her.
I will.
We will push each other. Karen, as always, thank you. Vanessa, yes.
I have both. I'm
Thank
gonna have
you.
both of them on Facebook, so I'll keep them on track. Trust me.
Oh, all right.
We've got
There
us
we go.
we've got us an accountability partner.
Yes.
And Vanessa, thank you so much for hanging out today and sharing and helping us keep everything straight. I really do appreciate it. And I guess I believe in don't quit. I'm not gonna. Well, yeah. Let me finish my.
You know how you do.
Let me finish my blab as I always do with my favorite poem, which is "Don't Quit." And it goes this way: when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you don't want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. For life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us will someday learn. And many a failure turn about that might have won if they stuck it out. Success is just failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the cloud of doubt. And you never know how close you are. You may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. And it's taken me 10 years. but the book will be out. It takes a while to build muscle. And that's, the book is building spiritual muscle. Doesn't happen overnight. And again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for listening in, and have a fantastic day.